First topic on the agenda. Josh, are you here? I haven't seen Josh, so yeah, it would be good to figure out what is our plan. I think there was an email this week about staffing the booth. I assume that we will staff the booth. Are there yeah, on the previous meeting, there was a discussion about the staffing the KeepCon, but there was no resolution whether, when, and how we should request it. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think previously we just created a spreadsheet to track and let people volunteer. I don't know if there will be many people on KeepCon, but or me, I can volunteer. Can if so? I assume if you want to stop or I assume we'll get enough people. So I think I will request it, but it would be good to have a list of people. I think we can take a spreadsheet from. Yeah, yeah. This was Chicago. We should be able to maybe duplicate and create a. And we don't have dates for now, so maybe let's have volunteers, just list volunteers. Yeah. Okay. I will, in the meantime, I think we got a couple or I've seen a couple of people, so yeah, let me just copy, and if yeah, so we will, depending on the whether we will get a full booth, so morning and evening, or that we will adjust the time, and I think we can decide on the days later. Yeah, but if we have at least like 4 or 5 people, it should be good enough. We are good enough to just request it. Any thoughts about this? Any ideas how we... Okay. So I will take an AI. Okay, second topic. Siwan, do you want to take over and talk about the downgrade support?
Yeah, so there was a long discussion about the downgrade support from 3.45 to 3.4, and that was so I just wrote a doc just to get to some conclusion regarding this issue. So the basic conclusion I have come to is so based on the extensive research on the code difference between 3.4 and 3.5, there's basically no like data compatibility issue between the two versions. So I think we can proceed with the simpler solution, not the full backport downgrade, just to make 3.4 allow for the downgrade. So that should be the easiest and the least risky way to proceed. So please take a look at this doc and provide feedbacks. So it'd be great to get some actions ongoing for this issue.
Yeah, so I had the occasion to read the doc, and high level, I think it's I agree, and I think it's well researched on the important, like for me, the important part was the compatibility and ensuring that we have it, and yeah, with the compatibility research, I think we should be good to implement the proposal and by Xuan, and I think something that Benjamin originally proposed. So I think I would defer to Benjamin about his thoughts because he proposed it.
Yeah, we need to take a close look offline. The high level, yeah, I agree with the high level direction, but the details, we need to talk about all the details offline.
Okay, so okay, we can follow up on the document. Are there did anyone have time to review the document or have some thoughts or share some feedback?
Yeah, I took a look. I think it looks good. It's just, yeah, the details are the important part. So is the next step to elaborate on, so I think we're going for the solution number 3. Is that correct? Or
Yes.
I was still so everybody is committed to number 3, it seems like.
Uh, uh, yeah, it seems that so. Like,
Okay. So what will be the next step?
so everybody should explicitly approve in this doc, and then we'll proceed with the implementation.
Someone will need to merge their PR, Bogdan, unfortunately.
Okay.
Like, yeah, I mean, let us know if you can finish it.
I can. I think it's good that we have more traction on this. So, but I think the most important part though is the changes for the online downgrade to 3.4.
Yeah.
Basically, for me, there was like a little bit of because it seems like nobody. What we're actually interested on is the full support, not just the data migration. And for us, we just did it through like internal patch, so it which is kind of resembles what is proposed here. So that's why I guess I was kind of a little bit slow on the PR as well, because I felt like it's not really solving that much. But I think, if we're going for solution number 3, I think that's great. So I'll work on it.
Yeah, so there are 3 or the two important parts is like one, doing that, like implementing the compatibility or making 3.4 able to join the cluster, and that's simple, like technically could be done as a simple naive change. The problematic is proving that this is like correct, and I think we and possibly what safeguards that you want to bring to this, and I think the document specifies this. At least if you look at the sections, there are still some details around what we should do with fields, how the handling of new fields in 3.4 should be implemented, and I think we are discussing this, but that's just how I mean, overall the problem, we have a solution. It's just how what is the user experience we want to provide, and how how users will basically use it to be safe, whether we want to have a full compatibility or we want to validate and prevent incorrect, or to be safe to reject downgrade in some cases. Yeah, so we can, I think, follow up on the document.
Yeah, one more comment. Probably we should also consider how the Kubernetes will use this feature. Reason because we LCD have never supported downgrade before. It's a new feature in Studio 6. So so I'm not sure how Kubernetes will use the downgrade feature.
Just to clarify, Kubernetes did downgrades.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't know. Kubernetes will start. Kubernetes will start using these LCD. Depend on LCD's feature, right? LCD is a precondition. If LCD doesn't support downgrade, Kubernetes there's no way for Kubernetes to support downgrade. So if LCD support downgrade, how will Kubernetes to leverage this feature to implement support downgrade in Kubernetes cluster? So I think we need to clarify this in first step.
Yeah, I agree that would be good to understand how broader community could use this. I don't know if I understood, but Kubernetes does downgrades, but those downgrades not necessarily work, I think, from 3.4. In 3.x, but I think it broke in 3.4. I can leave a link. Yeah, on Kubernetes. So Kubernetes has its own tool called migrate, and it didn't do a correct migrate. It did migrate the data, but it didn't guarantee that the data will be correct. But I think we should, as now as a SIG etcd, we should consider updating the tool and making it more using the knowledge that we have and the tool, like the new tooling that we are building to in Kubernetes. Yeah. Any other feedback?
I guess I'll comment this, but it mentioned in the appendix the list of fields that will prevent downgrade. So I think correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the most concerning one is this auth status request. So basically, I guess we'll need to somehow document it or something to make sure that if you have this in your log, then the downgrade will not happen.
Yes, and I brought up the issue, I think, in the comments, that this is the only type of wall entry that is only supported in 3.5, that still can exist in 3.5. All other entries will not naturally happen, are supported but not used by 3.5. So this is kind of request that we could potentially expect, and we need to clarify how it happens. I think I proposed at least two ideas. The safer one would be just to have migrate command, like etcd, reject a downgrade to 3.4 if there is such entry, to be on the safe side, because I mean that even if we implement it in 3.4, even if we implement in 3.4, it doesn't mean that any etcd or maybe, okay, to clarify, this one is tricky, that can happen in etcd and would be good to validate, but maybe the problematic also there is some issues with other fields because the status request is both expected and but it's technically it's a request. It's a it's a read request, not a write request, so it doesn't have side effects. And when we are thinking about hybrid clusters or clusters during downgrade, we need to ensure that all the members will behave the same. So it's one that should be documented, but also we could just implement it internally in 3.4. So I think we should. There are some still things to clarify.
Yeah, I think to implement in 3.4, it's just for the auth request. It's not too much work, and it doesn't really have any side effects. So if we think that's a better experience for the users, then we should probably just add that in 3.4.
Yeah, that would be maybe to my like the third option. It would be good to maybe dive into to this part directly. Yeah.
Anyway, that's the only difference. The other request types are not really used.
I think the most important thing is to make sure Kubernetes are happy with this solution. You know, if we support the downgrade from 3.4 to 3.5 to 3.4, and then how Kubernetes will use this? Are Kubernetes happy with this solution? Is Kubernetes happy? Is the most important thing. We need to double confirm that before we make any decision on our side, before we implement the PR.
So to give like, or Kubernetes itself assumes that you can migrate etcd. And so I think we can, like, to ensure that etcd is happy or Kubernetes is happy, we can just make sure that the solution that we build is available in Kubernetes. So if you look into this directory, it describes it describes how it built the tool to migrate Kubernetes. And this tool existed. It was very naive. It was external to etcd, but because it was external, it didn't really provide full compatibility. It was, let's say, implied compatibility, but I would expect that maybe there were cases that it didn't, like, I would not trust it on my, like, I would not trust necessarily this tool, but Kubernetes already had, like, historically it was implemented there. So I would look like if to be on the same page would be good to maybe on the document to provide some context or how this tool will be used or how this downgrade would be used in Kubernetes itself.
Yeah, that's the most important thing to me.
Yeah. Okay.
So are you expecting like a documentation of like, okay, how do we do downgrade in Kubernetes, assuming this exists? Is that correct? Or do you expect like a tool like this to be resurrected? Or...
So I would expect that we integrate, like, we make a decision, would be good to make a decision what to do with migrate and support it working somewhat as part of migrate, or at some point, or have some plan to rewrite the migrate located in Kubernetes to migrate located in etcd, but have this scripting existing in the Kubernetes image. But documentation definitely would be also like also useful.
So I guess to like unblock the work on the 3 for change. So you would like to see, like, at least I think what I'm hearing is just at least the documentation just explain how it will be in Kubernetes, and then that will need to be approved by somebody in Kubernetes, or
I mean, I would not block like the PR because it was technically discussed and I say approved before. I think that the second change, which was
yeah.
making the change in 3.4 to make it downgradable, I mean, even you would need to have some tests, and would be good to prove that it works. And I think would be good to also have some. I mean, the documentation about how it would work with Kubernetes and the migrate tool would be how Kubernetes users could benefit use it without like really digging into
Right.
etcd.
Yep. Okay. Sounds good.
Okay, and we have 5 more minutes, so let's jump to the next topic. Alton, are you here with us? Yeah, I think.
Yes, I am. I'm with you.
Do you want to talk about the security, SIG security work?
Right. Well, Ala Dewberry and myself, we would like to provide the advice and assistance to helping you do a self-assessment, a security self-assessment of the etcd project. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey folks, this is Ala. Yeah, thanks, Alex. So I also I signed up for the Google group, and I noticed that there is already an assessment underway with tag security. Is
Right,
that correct?
I can speak to that. I also joined because I saw the Google conversation started. So Tag
Yay.
Security set up the Security Pals, which is a collaboration with a NYU class of about 130 students. And they all were asked to grab CNCF projects and do self-assessments as if they were that project.
This is
And
this
then
is the work that
subsequently-
Justin
Yes. Yep.
Kapos is.
Yeah,
yes.
Justin.
Okay. Yes. Got it.
So the significance of this is that etcd shouldn't have been included in that, but the work was done, right? So now we have a new little can of worms that's opened up. I wouldn't say it's a Pandora's box. It's a good conversation to have, which is that right now we have projects being tracked, assessments for projects are being tracked by Tag Security, and Kubernetes subprojects are being tracked by SIG Security. And I mean, we could reach into like, do you want Tag Security help with that? But you guys didn't really open up that conversation. It was the students that did. So I think there's a default answer to it, but we still should just have that conversation.
Totally. And yeah, I know we just have a couple of minutes left, but so we are from SIG Security self-assessments in Kubernetes.
Yep.
So sorry, and just to parse what you're saying, so you're saying that this is because it's a part of Kubernetes, but it's being done under Tag Security. It's a little bit of a mismatch from kind of like an accounting perspective, so to speak.
Yeah. So like, it's not
okay.
that Tag Security doesn't want to help with that. In fact, Tag Security wants their fingers everywhere they can get their fingers. That's just how much can we help, right? But if this is a duplicate effort, then we should probably close that PR, grab anything useful out of it, and pass it off to the etcd and SIG Security to do whatever you want with it.
Yeah, no, and I took a cursory look at the doc that I think it was Kiang who was working on. I can't remember the name of the student.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's honestly, so also the history of self-assessments in Kubernetes is from Tag Security. So Pushkar Yoglekar, who is part of Tag Security, basically started to replicate that in the self-assessment subproject in SIG Security in Kubernetes. So we basically use the same process. So maybe an action item for Alex and I here is to go through the work that Kiang has done, maybe get that person on a call, and kind of see where things are at and what next steps are. And then if from an accounting perspective, it makes sense to kind of like close that PR and then open a new one in the self-assessments GitHub repo, we can do that. But I personally don't really care about where the GitHub issue or the repo lives. It's more, it's a good thing to do. It's really, you know, it's obviously etcd. We all know that infographic of etcd being the the tiny little toothpick holding everything up. So it's a good thing to do. I don't have a strong opinion on where it lives. It's really how can we help?
Right.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. I think the last thing that I would say about where it lives is that the usefulness, it should live where it's most useful, right? So if you guys are going into your repo to look for assessments and then make decisions based on the knowledge in that base, then it should live there, right? And right now for Kubernetes sub-projects, there's not an implicit value within tag security because tag security isn't looking at like the graduation state and, you know, that type of thing for etcd. To my knowledge, that hasn't entered into any conversations because it's managed within the Kubernetes ecosystem. So that should just be, it's like, hey, which repo does it serve best as far as like further usefulness?
Okay, that's good to keep in mind. Thank you. And sorry, I'm just on my phone right now. And what is your Eddie? Okay,
Oh, Eddie Knight.
Okay,
That's me. Hey.
Cool. I might hit you up on Slack, but I think Alex and I can go take a look at, like I said, where are things now? Sort of how can we help, and kind of get a conversation going, and you know, like you said, make a recommendation on, hey, it makes most sense to live here based on, like you said, how it's most useful. So we can take that away offline.
Yeah. Could you post that in the meeting notes, that GitHub link to the PR? Yeah. Great.
I have it somewhere too, Alex. If it doesn't get posted, hit me up. It's in the Google group. It's on one of the threads.
No, he's putting it in. So
Oh, sweet. Okay. I gotta run, folks, but it was really great to meet you all, and I'm super excited that this SIG exists because etcd is so important. Yay.
it is. Yeah, that's why I suggested it at our meeting in December.
Oh
So,
yeah. Alex also was just like, hey, we should do etcd. Oh my God. And it's like, yeah, that's a really good
I didn't
idea.
realize you guys had started already in December. So, good.
Thanks, everyone. I gotta run.
All right.
Okay, so I don't think we will get through. Okay, we got the link through all the topics, but please, but we can quickly discuss. Dusk, please. You can CC me or Benjamin on the.
Yeah, it was just a. If you guys had any thoughts about if it was something that etcd had an appetite for or anything like that, be happy to take it on.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, so would be.
Yeah, it can be out of band. I just wanted to bring it up as just
Okay.
to draw attention to it. So I'm good. Thanks.
Okay, so thanks everyone, and let's finish for today. I hope you have a great local time and see you in 2 weeks, or if you attend the trash meetings, maybe in a week.
See y'all.
See you.